Chicago White Sox announced a day last week that the team chairman, Jerry Reinsdorf, and billionaire investor, Justin Ishbia, have reached a long-term investment agreement that could lead to a future ownership change. So, we are joined by our guest from Chicago Sports Bums. He's a podcaster named Peter Fonseca. Good morning. How's it going?
Friend of the show. Friend of the show.
I wasn't here. I haven't met you. I'm Caitlin.
I'm Peter. Nice to meet you. Thanks for having me on again, Anthony. Exciting to talk White Sox, which, like last time, we didn't think it's an exciting time to be a White Sox fan, but it actually is.
And yet it is, despite their on-field performance. Listen, I have been out of town for some time. Did I read correctly that they sold out a game?
Yes. So Mexican Heritage Night last Friday is always one of their bigger events of the year. And it's the second year in a row that they sold out Mexican Heritage Night. And it was an awesome event. I wasn't able to make it, but I had a bunch of friends there. They were taking video, taking pictures. And yeah, it sounds like everything's on the up and up on the south side of Chicago. We got the possibility of a new owner. And now we're selling out stadiums.
I was on vacation scrolling. Wait. Are they... And I saw that they had sold out the stadium, and so when you're scrolling quickly, I didn't know if they were talking about the Pope event or if they actually sold out a game. So thank you for clarifying that. But you're correct. There's a few things to kind of get hyped about here, right? So run us through, first of all, what are your thoughts? Caitlin just kind of ran us through the nuts and bolts of this transition, this handing off of the baton between Reinsdorf and Ishbia. What are your thoughts about this announcement and kind of what it could mean for the team?
Yeah, realistically, it's a light at the end of the tunnel, correct? We've had Jerry Reinsdorf as an owner for the better part of 50 years now, and they announced that possibility of 2029 to 2034 would be the transition period. But that's what we were looking for. We were looking for answers, and we were looking for a light at the end of the tunnel. Justin Ishbia, coming from private equity, sounds like he's willing to invest in the team, and he's already made some investments for the team. So yeah, I'm excited about it. I think we were all hoping for this to be the case. Now 2029 might be a little bit far away, but at least we got something to look forward to.
So I have a question, just as an outsider's perspective that's not really in the sports world. How much of an impact does the owner of the team have on the quality of the players and how they do during the season?
Yeah, that's a great question. It really depends owner to owner, team by team. You got some owners willing to invest their own money to make the team better, make facilities better, invest in the players and everything else. And for the longest time, Jerry Reinsdorf, unfortunately, didn't really want to spend the money to be able to compete with the rest of the Major League Baseball. So now that we have someone like Justin Ishbia, who him and his family also own the Phoenix Suns, then you could argue how they're running that organization, but that's more of his brother. But at least they're investing money into that franchise. We're looking for the same thing, right? We're looking for a bolster in pay raise, maybe a new stadium, maybe some other things. And it's very exciting. So yeah, the owner plays a big factor in it.
Well, we've seen kind of what has happened with the Dodgers. You could almost argue that they're a super team at this point, and all the prospects want to play for LA. Where do you think the Sox could go? I know we talk about 2029. There's been buzz about a new stadium, but ideal world, what happens from here? Because I've always looked at Rate Field as kind of a liability. If you're a hot prospect, do you really want to play that? You know what I'm saying? It doesn't have the
Cubs,
the prestige of the Cubs or that storybook feel.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the need for a new venue?
Yeah, the need for a new venue is there. I don't think it's the end all be all. If you spend money and you show players that you're willing to invest in them, then they're going to want to play with you. And it also about winning championships, correct? Like if you're a free agent and you know that you're going to a team to contend, and there's other players around, and there's a base where it's like possible for you to win a championship, then yeah, you're going to want to go there. But yeah, it all goes back to the investment portion of it. The stadium, I would love to say, stay in the south side of Chicago. There was rumors of the 78, and now the Chicago Fire kind of took that away. But then the White Sox are saying, well, there could be 2 stadiums there. Mm-hmm. That's going to be a Justin Ishbia problem, because I don't think Jerry Reinsdorf is going to be able to pony up the money to do a stadium now that the state and local governments are saying, you're not going to get any money from us, and he's not going to privately fund it.
So that's my question to you two, is where would you rather him invest his money? In a new stadium with the community and maybe having more fans come out because of the facilities around the stadium, or on the players? I'm
going to default to Peter. You're saying of those 2 things, you got to invest in the players, correct?
Yeah, you build a team, you get to the playoffs, you're getting there to the possibility to win a championship. That bolsters the atmosphere. We saw the last time in the last 4 years they made the playoffs once against the Houston Astros. Those games were electric. That season, it was sold out. We were all there, excited. Yes, the stadium and the ballpark village and all the amenities are great, but if the team's going to be the worst team in baseball, it's still going to be a hard time to get people into that stadium, no matter how nice it is.
All right, well, one big draw could be Pope Leo, right? That's one reason to get people in the stadium. So this event is happening on Saturday. Not sure if you're going or not, Peter, but what do you think this means for the team itself?
Yeah, it's just another positive impact in the last month or so that the White Sox are doing. We talked about it last time I was on. We got a Southside Pope, very excited about it. We got T-shirts. I'm going to the event with my mother. My mother doesn't.
You're going.
My mother, she don't care about baseball at all, but she, as like many Hispanic families, are diehard Catholics. I'm a diehard White Sox fan. That's something me and my mom could get along with. So
yeah, you guys overlap there.
So we'll be there.
I love it so much. So what's going to be different about this game? Are they going to be kind of catering to those fans that may not be there for the baseball, but for the Pope?
Yeah, so the White Sox are actually playing away on this Saturday. So the event itself is just a celebration of Pope Leo, Pope Bob, as I call him, being from the south side of Chicago. There's going to be some people speaking. There's going to be a celebration of himself. There will be a mass. And then at the end, I hear that there's going to be a video message from the Pope to White Sox fans and to the Catholics that are at the stadium. So I think my mom is very excited about it.
I may be there too, so maybe I'll get to meet you and your mom. That would be awesome. I can't wait for that message. Talk about good use of the Jumbotron right there. And this is, from what I understand, this thing is sold out, correct?
Yeah, sold out. I was maybe not expecting that because of me being a White Sox fan. Like they don't really sell out much of anything, but the White Sox aren't the draw. Pope Leo's the draw. That thing sold out in about a half hour, I believe.
Wow.
So my mom was able to get tickets. She got tickets for the family, and it was only, I think it was like $4.99 per ticket. I think that just costs, they're not making money off of this thing. No. They're just, basically enough to pay security and the employees working, stuff like that. So, it should be a fun event.
Do you think we're going to ride this high of the Pope being a Sox fan for years to come, or is this a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity?
I guess it really depends on how the Pope affects the team on the field. They got a winning record in June. They've won 5 of the last 7 games. Pope Leo is part of the vibes that are changing. And I don't want to just credit Pope Leo, which he's a big factor in all of that. But you got 7 rookies playing that seem to be bolstering the lineup. And you got a new manager in Will Venable that was the best manager available last year after the horrific last season that they had. So there's slowly, it's taking time, but the vibes are changing. And Pope Leo's part of that.
I ventured into enemy territory to watch our beloved White Sox take on the Cubs a couple weeks ago with my family. And I saw a number of people dressed up as Pope Leo. What are you planning on wearing? And what, Peter, do you expect to see from the crowd? Are people going to dress to the nines here? Is this like your Sunday best that you go in? What do you expect?
That's a great question, because if you typically go to a Catholic mass, you try to put on some khakis, maybe a polo shirt. But I'm going to be there with my Pope White Sox shirt. I'm going to probably trying to sell a couple of those. So we'll be in the Pope bum shirt that we have on sale. But I think it's just going to be a positive atmosphere. It's going to be a celebration of all things Oak Leo, and being a Southsider. So it's exciting.
Well, tell us about keep that shirt up, will you guys? I want Peter to run us through this design, how you guys came up with this, and how to get your hands on it.
Yeah, so I'm part of the Chicago Sports Bums. We are a podcast and blog and YouTube page where we talk sports and drink whiskey. That's our tagline. Our White Sox Batterman logo was typically a White Sox logo with a little rocks glass. We tossed the Pope hat as soon as we found out that the Pope was a White Sox fan because we got excited about that. So we got a White Sox version of the Pope shirt, and then we also got a Bears version that we talked about last time I was on. So I appreciate you guys putting that on screen.
Beautiful.
I love it so much. Okay, so this is all sold out. Do you think if someone shows up day of, they'll be able to buy it off of somebody a ticket? Or do you think it's just don't even try?
That's a great question, because you would think there's going to be extras floating around. And if you are, part of the congregation, you would think there's some good Samaritans there trying to give you some extra tickets or something. But I'm also a White Sox fan, and I know there's a couple, 2-3 guys trying to make a buck. So you might be able to find some scalp tickets as well.
That feels sacrilegious to me.
It is.
That feels a little sacrilegious. Who needs tickets?
Right.
That's funny. That might, we in journalism here, we always try to think about sidebar stories. There's like the main story, but then there's that would be a good sidebar. Who would scalp tickets to a mass?
I know.
There's the sidebar for us.
There's somebody. There's probably a handful.
Exactly. You kind of got to respect it in a way. All right. Peter, always good to see you, sir. Maybe I'll run into you on Saturday.
Would love it.
This
Thank
is
you
all
so much for having
TBD.
me.
I don't know if I'm working that day or not. That's TBD. Always a pleasure to have you on the show. Come back soon sometime, sir.
Would love it. Thank you.
All right. We are back with more Chicago Now right after this.